Welcome to the Bullberry Show, folks. Today we're diving headfirst into the chaotic, competitive, and sometimes downright bonkers world of Dota 2. Buckle up, because this episode, we're going to explore this legendary MOBA from a fresh perspective. Alright, let's start with a bit of a history lesson, but I promise to keep it quick. Dota 2, developed by Valve, hit the scene in 2013 and has been a beast in the multiplayer online battle arena genre ever since. Originally a mod for Warcraft 3 called Defense of the Ancients, which can be narrowed to Dota A. It was sort of purchased by Uncle Gabe and evolved into Dota 2, and now has millions of players worldwide. This game has both captivated and driven gamers nuts for years. In addition, it also drove Blizzard crazy as they missed the opportunity to get this game for themselves, and then failed with Heroes of the Storm several years later. Now, onto my personal history with MOBA games. I dabbled in original Dota back in the day, but mostly against bots, home alone. I thought I was a big deal until I came to my grandma and said to my friend how good I am. I still remember picking Lycanthrope, he picked Bristleback, and I got absolutely wrecked. After that, I quit Dota for good. Some time later, played Heroes of the Storm with friends for a couple of months, but then I peaced out from the genre. But now, I'm back and ready to see what Dota 2 has to offer. I've offered a sneak peek on my rating system, so have a look at more detailed overview of what's going on here if you wish. Anyway, first up, installation. Super easy, just a one-click install on Steam. It doesn't get more straightforward than that. Download the client, install it, and you're good to go. No complicated steps, no extra software needed, just pure simplicity. For anyone who's ever struggled with cumbersome installation processes, this is a breath of fresh air. Easy 10 for easiness to install. Easily. Now, onto the community. Dota 2 has a tiny bit of a reputation for being toxic and elitist, so I decided to jump into the Eastern EU server, known for being one of the most toxic. To my surprise, it wasn't as bad as I expected. Sure, there's no real moderation, so you'll encounter some questionable usernames and a fair amount of aggressive map pinging. Reasonable sometimes, but it resembles old guy grumping, and you can't understand what exactly you're doing wrong. Russian-speaking community is, well, being themselves. Just have a look at this little guy. Anyway, it's less of a problem for all other regions. After all, I did get a few thumbs up after the matches, which, assuming they weren't sarcastic, was a nice touch. I didn't find any real support, but at the same time, I haven't seen an angry child screaming at me for picking a wrong hero or a wrong item. Not great, not terrible. 7 out of 10. Next, the tutorial. It's pretty solid, covering the basics of movement, strategy, attacking, defending, and more. The game does a great job of introducing new players to its complex mechanics. There are in-game helpers like what to buy and built-in guides on how to play your hero. Beginner matches, which I suspect are against bots, help you get the hang of things. After that, as you continue playing, the game provides additional tips and guides, ensuring that you're never left completely in the dark. 9. For easiness of start. But then comes the difficulty spike. Once you enter your first match, even casual one, you're up against players who've been playing for over a decade. Like, I'm not even kidding, you may have a look at this loading screen. After I got into a general pool, I could barely find my kills for the footage. There were plenty of deaths though. And obviously, the more you know about the heroes, their items and abilities, the better you'll do, which really makes a huge difference. For me, each match had heroes I had no clue about, making it feel like I was in the cockpit of a jumbo jet with too many buttons and indicators. Within my 10 hours of play, I didn't feel like I was improving. It's a steep learning curve with no middle ground. The sheer number of heroes, items, and strategies don't help either. The game requires a deep understanding of not just your own hero, but also the other 9 heroes in the game, and on top at least resemblance of the team tactics. And let's not forget about the shifting meta, which is constantly evolving as players discover new strategies and tactics. It can be incredibly frustrating for new players to keep up, so it's not going to be better than 2 out of 10 here. Cost of playing? The game is free, and cosmetics are mostly paid. I'm now located in Switzerland, and prices here are higher even than those in the US, but the model is valid. On one hand, the game itself is free, allowing anyone to jump in and play without spending a dime. This is a great approach, as it lowers the barrier to entry and allows more players to experience the game. However, while some old cosmetics are cheap, several cents per item, but there are items as pricey as my entire game library, which feels predatory. I mean, just look at this little thing. Adorable, ain't it? There's little to no in-game progression for cosmetics, so while initially I wanted to give it a 10, the presence of over-the-top high-priced items drops it to an 8. Graphics and interface? Before we proceed, look at this guy. Ugliest furry I've ever seen. Anyways, the graphics in Dota 2 have aged relatively well. The game has a distinct visual style that is both colorful and detailed. The heroes are well designed, and the spell effects are flashy and impressive, but not Korean style. However, there are times when the screen can become cluttered with effects, making it difficult to see what's happening. This is especially true during large team fights, where multiple abilities are being used simultaneously. As for the interface, it's a mixed bag. The main menu and hero selection screens are well designed and easy to navigate. However, once you're in the game, the interface can feel a bit cluttered and unintuitive. Important information is scattered across different parts, and it can be difficult to find what you're looking for. This is in stark contrast to the tutorial, which does a great job of highlighting important features and guiding you through the game. Overall, the graphics and interface are solid 5, but there is room for improvement in terms of the interface, so overall it will be 8 out of 10 too. Gameplay mechanics are both a blessing and a curse. There are dozens of heroes, each with unique tactics and abilities, which is overwhelming, but keeps things fresh. Regular balance patches and improvements keep the game evolving. For a newbie, it's a lot to take in, but it's undeniably positive. The depth and complexity of Dota 2's gameplay mechanics are what make it so appealing to many players. Each hero has a unique set of abilities and playstyle, allowing for a wide variety of strategies and tactics. The game is constantly evolving, with new heroes, items, and balance changes being added regularly. This keeps the game fresh and exciting for the veterans, but there is a slight problem. If you're a bad player, it doesn't help you a bit. Moreover, this also makes the game incredibly daunting for new players. There is a lot to learn, and it can take hundreds of hours to fully grasp all the mechanics. Despite this, the depth and complexity are what make Dota 2 a rewarding game for those who invest the time to learn it, so I'd say it's a 10 for such an old game being not forgotten by the devs even now. Now let's talk hardware. My experience was generally smooth, though there were a few lag spikes that seemed to be hardware related. Overall, the game ran well and didn't present any major issues. I can see this game running on some pretty ancient hardware, which is great for accessibility. No critical bugs cropped up during my playtime, so it's a solid 9 for technical performance with just minor lags here and there. Longevity and content? After 10 hours, I barely scratched the surface. Let's call it this way. It takes 100 hours to unlock ranked mode. It's got longevity for sure, though it borders on addictiveness. The game has been around for over a decade, and it shows no signs of slowing down. With regular updates, balance patches, and new heroes being added, there is always something new to discover. The game is incredibly deep, with a high skill ceiling that takes years to master. This means that players can spend thousands of hours playing and still find new strategies and tactics to explore. However, this also means that the game can be highly addictive. It's easy to lose track of time while playing, and some players may find themselves spending more time on the game than they intended. As for the content, while there are new heroes and balance changes, the core gameplay remains the same. The map hasn't changed significantly, and the overall objective is still to destroy the enemy's Ancient. This can make the game feel repetitive for some players, but for others, the consistency is part of the appeal. Overall, Dota 2 has incredible longevity and a wealth of content, but it's not for everyone for sure, so let's call it a 7. Finally, the chef's kiss. My feelings are mixed. While Dota 2 has its moments of brilliance, it's also incredibly frustrating and difficult to master. The community can be both helpful, probably, and toxic, and the steep learning curve can be discouraging for new players. After 10 hours, I still felt like I was floundering, with no real sense of progress or improvement. I've seen a tiny part of the heroes, played even less, and understood the mechanics of like 1 or 2. Despite this, I can see why so many people love the game. It's a complex, rewarding experience for those who are willing to put in the time and effort to learn it. However, for casual players or those looking for a more relaxed experience, it might not be the best fit, and I'll stay in the middle with 5 out of 10. So, we're getting there, and Dota 2 gets a total of 75 out of 100 from me. It's probably a good game, but I'm not invested enough to spend the time needed to get to ranked mode and beyond. I'd rather try out more games instead of repeating the same actions on the same map without a chance to catch up with veterans. So that's my take on Dota 2. Whether it's good or bad, I'll leave it to you to decide. It is the first video on this channel, so your likes mean an awful lot to me to continue. If you feel, subscribe, and comment on what game I should check out next. Remember, every 4th game will be picked based on your comments. See you in the next episode of the Bullberry Show.